100 years to the hour, the people of Hartlepool came out onto the streets once more. This time not to the sight of bombshells hitting their homes, but to a community at sunrise, trying to remember its darkest hour.
Well over 1,100 shells falling on these communities in just 40 minutes.
They gathered in one of the squares that the 3 German warships attacked and released one balloon for each of the 37 children who died.
Harold Cook, 10. Robert William Cook, 8.
Well, it's always poignant when the balloons are let go and they see them drifting off into the sea. It's terrible, isn't it, to think of all those poor, from babes in arms to to old men.
When we usually talk about the First World War, most people think of the Western Front. They think of it being hundreds of miles away, trenches and mud. Whereas this actually brings it home that it was right on people's doorstep.
And this is that doorstep, transformed to a battlefield in minutes. 130 people died here as the bombs rained in. The ships were so close they could fire straight at people's homes. And it's that sudden change from everyday life to the death and trauma of war that still speaks to us all these years later. Hartlepool was the first time that civilians had come under such attack, but it was just the opening chapter on a century that saw millions of people die. And if at times that seems difficult to comprehend, then today is about remembering that they were all just individuals like you and I. People like Theo Jones, a teacher and soldier, and the first to die. Today, pupils from the same school planted poppies from the Tower of London in memory of those killed.
We've got to remember there is hope and that we can move forward and that people will unite up for the sake of the future of our young people.
And perhaps Thomas Minks is testimony to that. He's named after his great-great-uncle, who died a few yards from here.
I'm quite proud that I've been named after him.
Proud to have a family member as well who was...
He didn't start his life, and hopefully I can finish it for him.
Over the years, the shell holes may have been filled, and this historic gun battery turned into a museum. But no matter how many times the sun rises on Hartlepool's headland, the 40 minutes of that morning in 1914 will always remain with the generations who live here. Dan Ashby, ITV News in Hartlepool.